We're going to call the September 16th meeting to order. Roll call.
Here. 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 Mrs. Keeper.
Here. Time we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Are there any board members that desire to add, delete, or separate any items on the consent agenda as proposed? No. All right. At this time, I need a motion to approve the meeting agenda as presented for the regular board meeting on September 16th, 2024.
Support.
Roll call.
Specula. Yes. Mr. Carr. Yes. Mr. Miller. Yes. Yes. Mrs. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. At this time, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the special and regular board meetings held on August 19th, 2024.
So moved. Support.
Roll call.
Specula. Yes. Mr. Carr. Yes. Mr. Miller. Yes. Mr. Smith. Yes. Mrs. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. At this time, is there any board members with correspondence? Mr. Kara? Mr. Samola?
Yes, I notice a resignation from Janice Smith from one of her kitchen positions.
Thank you. We continue recognizing guests and visitors.
That's with us. Thank you for being here. Can you please just introduce yourself? Good.
Sherry Brown, Elementary Council.
Dr. Dolores Swineford. Don Spradlin, Transportation Coordinator. Alexis Howell. Jenny Conrad.
Lucas Burkholder. Brady Roofer.
Awesome, thank you. Seeing now no one registered to address the board, we will continue on with Mr. Carroll's recommendations for the financial report.
All right, thank you. For the month of August, we have our normal reports. The first one you have is your cash reconciliation report, which shows that we are balanced with the bank. The second report is our financial summary. This is how we are appropriated and budgeted. The time this report was created, we are still at 75% of our budget. That's what we approved in May to start fiscal year 25. We have our cash summary. This shows our balances for each of our funds. Then we have the disbursement summary. These are the checks that we issued during the month of August. First graph that you see is for our general fund for the month of August compared to August of last year, and then year to date compared to last year date. We have our cash balance at the bottom. And at the end of August, we are 17% of the way through our fiscal year. The next graph is our payroll and benefits broken down. And we have spent 16% of our payroll budget and 16% of our benefits budget at the end of August. A couple other items on the financial agenda. We have a couple donations, which we are very thankful for to those companies. We have one grant to approve. And we have a couple transfers from the student assistance fund to food service fund and then the general fund to one of our grants. And the main one here is to approve the permanent appropriations. As I said, currently we are 75% approved of last year's budget. Now we need to lock in our budgets at 100% for this fiscal year.
Awesome. Any questions for Mr. Carroll? All right. We'll continue on with the financial section of the agenda. We need to approve the August 2024 financial reports we just reviewed with Mr. Carroll. We accept the following donations: $100 anonymous donation to the Student Assistance Fund, $30 from Michael Huffman to the Athletics, $100 from Truland Equipment to FFA, another $250 from Truland Equipment to FFA Officer Retreat, $200 from Wise Farms to FFA Convention Jackets. We need to approve the following grants for fiscal year 25 and to modify appropriations and estimated resources accordingly. The SOS tutoring, students for other students, $7,500. We need to approve the following transfers, appropriations, modifications, and amended resources accordingly. Transfer of $19.15 from the Student Assistance Fund to food service, and a transfer of $8,050.20 from general fund to IDEAB. We need to establish the district in-state tuition rate for the 24-25 school year at $13,189.69, and the out-of-state tuition rate at $16,589.48. as established by the Ohio Department of Education. We also need to approve the permanent appropriation for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. This time I just need a motion to approve the financial reports and other financial items.
So moved.
Questions or discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Eckler?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Miller? Yes. Mr. Smith? Yes. Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carries. We'll move on to personnel. We need to accept the resignation of Janice Smith from dishwasher to our position. Need to offer the following supplemental contract for 24-25 school year pending the completion of all people activity permit requirements, and there's a list there of coaches. I'll give you a second to read through. We also need to offer the following individuals a non-teaching 1-year limited contract. Scott Westbrook, night custodian for 8-hour position. Janice Smith, cook 2.5-hour position. We need to approve the following high school and middle school paid and volunteer event workers for the 2024-2025 school year. Audra Rossai. We need to add the following individuals to the approved district substitute list pending the completion of any and all licensure requirements and background checks. Bobby Miller. At this time, I just need a motion to approve the above listed personnel positions.
So moved. Or.
Questions or discussion? Roll call?
Eckler?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith? Yes. Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carried. At this time, we need a motion to approve the joining of the Ohio Coalition of I'm sorry. I can't say the word right now. Equity adequacy of school funding. So whereas the state has adopted a universal voucher system and whereas Ed Choice vouchers are funded by the state from designated appropriation line items 200 through 550, 200 through 604, and 200 through 612, and payments to private school diminishes the amount of funding and levels of educational opportunities in school districts and ESCs. And whereas the deduction of school voucher funds from funds available to authentic public education further reduces the funding available to support the additional needs for minority pupils, pupils in poverty, and pupils with disabilities. And whereas the deduction of school voucher funds from the appropriations that fund authentic public education increases reliance on local tax revenues to maintain school operations in violation of the Ohio Constitution and clear directives of the Ohio Supreme Court. Now, therefore, the Board of Education finds and determines that the universal voucher program is harmful to the district, its pupils, taxpayers, voters, and staff. The Board of Education authorizes and directs the school district joiner of the Ohio Coalition of Equity and Adequacy of School Funding Coalition and directs the district treasurer to pay coalition dues as set forth in section 3. Coalition dues for the school year are a sum of $2 per district pupil. Enrollment listed on most recent report card. Dues shall be allocated to the coalition as follows. 50 cents per pupil shall be initially allocated to the payment of coalition operating expenses, and $1.50 per pupil should be allocated to the support of the coalition efforts to challenge the constitutionality of the Ed Choice voucher program. Coalition dues is a total of $2 per pupil and payable upon passage of this resolution.
Oh. Support.
Questions or discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Eckler?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
No.
Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carries. At this time, we need a motion to allow Evergreen High School student athletes to participate in the 24-25 indoor track and field season using the Evergreen High School name. Athletes will be under the supervision of adult volunteers that have valid pupil activity permits, and all participation will cease before the beginning of the outdoor track and field season. If approved, the Evergreen local school district will assume no cost or liability for indoor track participants, coaches, and volunteers.
Oh. Support.
Question or discussion? Roll call?
Eckler?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith? Yes. Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carries. We need a motion to approve an Evergreen High School Gymnastics Club for the 24-25 school year. The district will assume no cost associated with the club. All costs, including but not limited to transportation, uniforms, entry fees, coaching fees, and participation fees, are assumed by the club members. The EHS Gymnastics Club will be permitted to operate using the Evergreen High School name and Board of Education approved logo.
Support.
Questions or discussion?
How many kids we got?
Just one.
This one.
She participated last year for Northwood.
Roll call?
Beckett,
Yes.
Mr. Carr,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes, Mrs. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. At this time, Mr. Small, would you like to take over discussion and information?
Yeah, just wanted to note on here, personnel, we have a number of staff members who are continuing their education to keep up their license and to improve their teaching, so there's a whole list there. With the increased education, it moves them over on the district approved salary scale, so wanted to note that here at a meeting, so I'm gonna take a second to look at those individuals. And then we wanted to thank Souter Woodworking for their donation. It's actually 25 end tables that was going to be desks to be used for our future Friday event on September 27th, where the students will assemble those as part of that day's activity. To thank Souders for their donation to the district.
What are they doing with them afterwards? Just leaving them here?
Drew, or what are they doing with those afterwards?
With those tables, it's our juniors and seniors. We got a little activity. We're gonna challenge them a bit, types of UIS, life skills, evaluation, quality checks.
The assembled tables.
They take it home
Once we
with you?
assemble them.
Yeah.
Probably, I'm hoping maybe freeload donation, if you'd like one.
I'm just wondering.
I need some, we got 25.
Start a rental business, right?
I don't have anything else, Mr. Small?
No, I'll have others with my report.
Okay, Mrs. Brown?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. We had a great start to the school year with our open house this year, where we had 2 different open houses. It worked amazing. Lots of planning preparation went into the evenings, but our teachers did an amazing job. It's nice to have our kindergarten and preschool students there to start. So they kind of had we get lay of the land, see where they come into the buses. Just a lot smoother, I think. So I think it's something that we'll try again for next school year. Our teachers have also been working on this year's assessments. They have been doing an amazing job. Once those are done this Friday, we'll get together and work with our teams to start talking about our students that are on and off track and get those students on rating improvement plans to get them into intervention groups. On our first day of school, I met with all of our students in every grade level for cafeteria expectations. And I feel like from the first day that I walked in until now, there's been a huge improvement. Our students know what is expected, and they follow the rules and are being very respectful and responsible. So I'm very proud of them and all of our aides working in the cafeteria that help out, and our staff that work in that capacity too. Our teachers also created 2 special days where they went over role expectations, where all the expectations in the building are covered with the kids, so they know exactly what's expected from the restroom to the hallways in specials. And it's good because we go back and revisit it after the first of the year. And it's something that I think is really helpful to remind them over and over what the expectations are. And we set them high, so they reach those. John Spradlin was gracious enough to meet with our students on the 28th and 29th for bus safety, which was excellent. Took a lot of time for her to do that, so we appreciate your time in doing that because it's very important for our students. Also wanted to let you know that LifeWise began on September 9th in 1st to 4th grade. We currently have 44 students with 3 new students being added. We also started our Green and Gold Fridays on September 13th, where Mr. Rupert sent over high school students. Our kids were so excited. They were wearing their green and gold from the very first day of school, and they were ready to go. So thank you for sending over our high school students because the kids love it. We just received our state report card, and I wanted to congratulate our elementary staff for all their hard work, receiving 4.5 stars on our state report card. They worked for it, make it happen, and along with our parents at home with their children. So I wanted to recognize our staff. We haven't dug in deep yet with the data, but we will be doing that eventually. We need to have time to break things down and talk with Dr. Swineford about all the information on the grade card. So that's all I have. Do you have any questions for me?
So it's likewise going pretty good. I mean,
It's running very smooth. I had a follow-up meeting with Mrs. Johnson and Mr. Resecker on Friday after our first week. Just to talk about, do we need to make any changes? What worked, what hasn't? It's flowed very smoothly. They've done a great job bringing in 2 volunteers each time so that we have one at the front of the line and one at the back. They take their diligent and taking attendance. So. Any other questions? Great, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burkholder.
Good evening. I want to start out by recognizing the People's Champ for the middle school. A little different this start of the year. I actually made Tony Doble the People's Champ. And it's the first time at a staff meeting, the person who was People's Champ got a round of applause from everybody, because anybody who's been in the district to be a year knows how hard Tony's been working to start out the school year. He has emailed me, I keep telling people this, he's emailed me 4 times this month after 11 p.m. So he's still up at his computer working as hard as can be. So I recognize him as People's Champ. Probably the most important thing that Tony does always, what he does technology wise, is what a positive attitude he does when he does it. So teachers are after him all the time, I'm after him all the time, we need a lot of stuff done, and he does it all with a smile, so. We had our orientation night back on the 19th of August. We just did a 5th and 6th grade orientation this year. We actually did 7th and 8th grade Chromebook pickup the week before. And that actually was done nicely. It gave for more time and space for the 5th and 6th grade families to come into the building. They had a presentation with me first, where I got to give them more information, and then they worked their way through the building, kind of at their own pace with their kids' schedule. I heard good feedback about that from parents who have been attending it the last couple of years. They thought this year ran more smoothly. Also building with that, we did a staggered start this year. We did a Wednesday, Friday start for half the kids and a Thursday, Friday start. Overwhelming majority of feedback that I've received so far was that it was good. They really liked it. They thought, especially for the new 5th and 6th grade kids in the building, took a lot of stress off them. The hallways were half as busy, the cafeteria was half as busy, bus pickup and drop off, all those things were a little easier and slower flowing for them. So I think it alleviated a lot of stress, not even for the kids, just even for the families too. So that was a good start to the year. I want to recognize some donations we've had to our building as far as whether they've been monetary or in this case gifts. We did have a Gaga Ball kit, Gaga Ball kit ceremony back on that orientation night. It's been awesome for the kids. We have used it every day at downtime. We get about at least 40 to 50% of our kids that go out to that area to play, but then it's also used regularly by staff during NNI as rewards and whatnot. So it's been overly utilized, which has been good for our kids. We've also had a donation made by Worthington. We're always looking for donations for our road program. We have the Amazing Shape program that we do, and we also do our road character awards. So we're looking for donations all the time, and they have graciously stepped forward and donated $1,500 for our program again this year. So that's 2 years in a row, so we very much appreciate their donations. Speaking of our programs, we're going to continue the Amazing Shape program that we started last year, and we're going to build upon it this year. So we're going to introduce the 5th grade. They're going to work with the 6th grade age group as far as learning those first 6 skills and lessons we did last year and doing those practices. And the 7th grade is going to get 6 more skills. So we expect our 7th graders to be even more well versed in what we're hoping that they can accomplish, even though the program will, well, year 1, we think year 2 will be even better for our kids. And then our 8th grade group, which has been through the program at least for a year now, will actually help run the program for us. So those Amazing Shape finalists will be hopefully helping facilitate and even teach more with the younger kids as they go through it. Last thing I want to do is say thank you to MVP as they came to our orientation night and set up a table, but they also have graciously provided meals for us this year. We're planning with them right now we switched from bowling night to a roller skating night for our 5th and 6th grade group, and then we're going to do a Ohio State Michigan dance, which we did 2 years ago. We do that again for the 7th, 8th grade group. So they've been actively planning with me on that to provide our kids with some cool activities. Oh, sorry, one more thing I want to throw in there as well is the house system we've been running at the middle school for the last couple of years. We adjusted this year to make it more age appropriate. So we actually now have, I call it a sibling house program, where the 5th and 6th grade make up houses that have a brother-sister house that's 7th and 8th grade. And so we'll make the house system specifically oriented to their grade level, the activities they do, the conferences they participate in, but they collectively work together as a house. So the 6 different Nordic themed houses that we have, if you ever see or hear any of the names and you're thrown off by Yarn House or Eldingat, and you're like, what are the kids talking about? Those are the Nordic language for different houses that they have, like House of the Bear or Lightning Bears. But the kids are pretty excited about it, and they're actively participating to earn house points throughout the year to basically win prizes and whatnot. But it's a great way to give positive reinforcement for the good behaviors that they do rather than just the negative stuff. So Any questions?
So, thank you, Mr.
Thank
Burkholder. Mr. Rupert.
Good evening. The high school is up and rolling. Our high schoolers are surviving without their cell phones. I think it's gone pretty well. Always, they seem to be more lively. Cafeteria is more lively, so far so good. Now we're on the homecoming. That'll actually start later this week, start competitions. And that'll wrap up on October 4th and 5th. On Thursday, August 29th, we had Kelly Swinson from the Eyes of Freedom. If you were at the fair, they had a memorial for the Lehman Company out of Columbus. I will say our students were very respectful. They were silent. They were paying attention. It was really good. I think we were one of the only schools she presented to. And she commended us on how well our kids behaved, and they actually stopped by at the fair. And then on September 6th, our Spirit Squad, which is new this year, it's a group of students, kind of guided by me and Mr. Hendricks. Goal of that group is to improve some school spirit, so they planned and implemented a pep assembly. I think it went pretty well. We had positive feedback from kids, so they're continuing to help plan some other things. Another community bonfire they're part of, so it's good to see kids engaging in that. The last thing I want to talk about is, as Mr. Small alluded to, is on September 27th is the first of several future Fridays. There will be no classes during the day. The goal of these are truly just to focus on life after high school skills. From simple things like tying a tie, writing their signatures, little simple tasks that kids don't know how to do, from bouncing checkbooks to basic stuff like that. To interviews, to applications. This time we are focusing on just some of the soft skills, interacting with people. We have some guest speakers who are business owners in the community and in the area. So we got just different things. Hopefully we'll engage the kids, mix it up, and start to kind of help prepare them for the real world. We will continue those throughout the year, and each one will be different thing. So, that is all that I have. Do you have questions?
I do want to say thank you for the Eyes of Freedom. I did talk to her, and we were the only school that got back in the area. I thought it was pretty awesome. So, and if you ever did go through that, you needed a Kleenex to go through the Eyes of Freedom. So,
The kids stopped by and talked to her, and so
thank you for setting that up.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rupert. Mrs. Bradlin.
Evening, so starting off the school year, we had our school bus spot inspection in August with the Ohio State Highway Patrol for the school year. And all 31 buses passed inspections thanks to our mechanic Jeff Abrams. 20 of those buses are now currently used as route buses. We have 11 spare buses. Last year, we did have 21 route buses. We have since combined the IEC and the LEAP route into bus 27, which is the Wasion / New Horizon route after the morning route, and into bus 28, which is a 4-county bus. So the 4-county bus takes the IEC students out to Pettysville. We drop our IEC students at Pettysville and pick up Pettysville's 4-county students. And we take their students to 4-county, and Pettysville takes all of our kids to IEC. So we've got a good communication with Pettysville, and in the afternoons then IEC brings all of our IEC students to 4-county, and then we take all of Pettysville students back to their home school as well. So it's on our way. It's no cost to them, but it's just basically doing them a favor. So we do have 2 new propane school buses ordered for the school year, correct? They should arrive in the next month or so, getting rid of 2 of our older buses with 200,000+ miles on them that we traded in. The 2 new propane buses were purchased using the EPA's Clean Fuel Grant, saving the district a total of $50,000. And Austin at Cardinal. Just so you know, a propane bus purchasing price is 130,000-ish, plus or minus. If we do purchase a diesel bus, it's right around 120,000. And if we do want to go electric, 394,000 for 1 bus. not including infrastructure. So, just so you know. We are not looking into that route right now. Not for our district. We currently have 19 drivers filling 20 of those total routes. Just so we know where we're at, Route 21, we have, Miss Rosie is out with surgery, she's had surgery. Her bus route is basically consolidated into 4 other buses right now, so their bus routes are a little bit longer. Just due to her being out, we're not sure if she's returning or not, she may or may not, she's still thinking about it. We'll know probably mid-October what she's going to be doing. Route 14, which was Mike Huffman, who retired at the beginning of the year. John McWaters, who initially last year and years in prior had done the IEC route. He is out for surgery as well, so we're filling his route with a couple sub-drivers and me and whoever else is available. He should be back next week doing the preschool route, and then the following week doing, fulfilling all of his obligations for the routes. He has a preschool route as well, so. We do have 2 new drivers that have attended pre-service class. One of the drivers has his commercial learner's permit, and he has started his on-board or on-bus training. And he is working with our trainer now, and hopefully next few weeks we'll have something coming out of that. The other one is studying for her commercial learner permit, and hopefully in the next month or 2 we'll have another driver, 2 drivers total, so. And I just wanted to go over what we did for our in-service this year. We had a 4-hour in-service, we do it every year. Typically we go to Archibald, or I put something on here, some things that we need to go over. We attended START training, and it's START training in Archibald. It stands for School Transportation Active Threat Response Training. For me, it kind of reminds me of Alice training, but for on the bus. We know things have happened in school districts. We don't know where it's going next. So we have started the in-class portion of it. It's 2 parts. It's an 8-hour total course. The NWOASC has paid for all of basically Northwest Ohio drivers that were interested to be at the in-class portion of it for the first 4 hours. We're looking at it for the second portion of it, which is the on-the-bus training. Last week, I did meet with all the other transportation coordinators out in Northwest Ohio. And we all agreed to the second half, and a total of, I think there was 220 drivers would be attending this next part. We're looking into prices and all that. Now, the ESC did pay for the first part, and we're hoping that most of, if not all of that, will be paid for by the ESC. And as long as we do it after July 1st, it'll account for our 4-hour training for next year. That 4-hour training, which is on the bus training, I'll read what it says. It says it's composed of active duty and former police officers, social workers, mental health experts, U.S. military, and United States Secret Service personnel. They deliver relevant, current best practice material in classroom and scenario-based exercise settings. Obviously, our hope is to not have to use the training in a real life scenario, but being educated and prepared on the subject is good practice if it's ever needed in the future. That's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Dr. Swineford.
So on Friday, you received an email to state release the 2024 local state report card. So you do have a packet in your in front of you that's going to go over some things. So a couple things. I'm not going to go through the whole packet. It's a lot of information, but I just want to pull out some highlights. First of all, we're still doing the overall rating and the star ratings for 5 of the 6 components. The one component that is not rated is the college career, workforce, and military readiness. They're saying it's going to be rated in 2025 report card. I go down to Columbus next month. I'm part of BASA's local report card committee. We meet 3 times a year with a liaison through the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. And this is one of the topics that we have talked about, that we are not ready to say that it should be graded, as well as the other piece is the early literacy. when they're measuring on track and off track, that's improving, our early literacy students with diagnostic, it measures from fall to fall. So for an example, I have Susie who takes the diagnostic iReady assessment in reading as a kindergarten student and is off track by a cut score determined by the state. Then they go the entire year of instruction, including the summer months they count, and then they take the iReady assessment as a first grader to see if they have, by the predetermined cut score for now for first grade, which is higher, if they get to move off track or stay, or be on track or stay off track. So one thing that our committee is pushing for that we want it to be fall to spring. We don't want to include that summer slide stuff. So they're listening, but they're not moving forward. So hopefully I'll have some more information next month. Couple of other things that I want to know before I go any further. The progress component this year is made up of 3 years worth of data. Where 23, 24. So we're looking at progress. We're talking about value added. Are we able to move our students a year's worth of growth based on state assessments? 23, 24 is 50%, and then 22, 23, and 21, 22 is 25%. The other piece too, I think people need to realize that that overall rating is truly made up of 57% of achievement and progress. Both of those components rely solely on state testing and state test results. So that's something to keep in mind. If you look, then you'll see where our district's overall rating fell across the state of Ohio. We are in the category of with 129 schools across the state of Ohio with having an overall rating of 4 stars. And then the chart underneath it actually breaks it down by our individual components of how we fall in regards to those components as a district. The next page you have is just an overview that you received in the email on Friday of how our district and each of our buildings rated in all the components, as well as chronic absenteeism and gifted. And you will notice that the college and career readiness does have 69.8%. That's just an estimated percent they gave us. It is not a rating. And that component itself is based on, are they ready? How prepared is that graduating class from the district is ready to go on to post-secondary, enter the workforce, or join the military? Okay, so we have a survey that the students fill out during their exit in May to get us information, and then we collect that and report it through ENIS. The next table you have is how Evergreen compares to school districts in Fulton County. As you notice that there are 2 districts that are at 4.5. Next year, we are going to beat them. That is our goal. Being 4 stars is not good enough for us. The next chart that you have, it's with lots of graphs on it. I thought this is a really good snapshot. It shows the trends for the last 5 years. And that's what I'm saying. When I say that we're going to be better next year, if you notice our trend, we have been consistent over the last 5 years. So we need to really look at what we can do to move forward or grow. Any questions so far? The next table is actually just how all of the state assessments, and that's grades 3 through 8 ELA and math, grades 5 and 8 in science, and then the end of course exams, algebra 1, geometry, English 10, biology, American history, and American government. And as you can see over the last 5 years, we are still pretty consistent. So a couple of highlights that I really want to talk about strengths. As a district, we improved our early literacy, and that is thanks to really being in tune to what we're reporting and how everything's being reported. The other piece are chronic absenteeism has dropped, and I really give credit that to the building principals, secretaries, and the counselors of staying on that. So that's pretty important. At the elementary, we had 86.1% of our 3rd graders score proficient on the reading segment. So we have an overall reading score for 3rd grade, and that includes the writing component piece. And then there's just a reading subscale score. So 86.1% for 3rd grade. That's pretty awesome. In middle school, our 7th grade English and math did exceptionally well in growing our students at least 20 years of growth. The same with high school and for algebra. We do have some concerns though. Performance index for the district went down. Again, results of state testing. One of the things that we need to look at, I was diving in deeper and looking at our students that are on the accelerated track that have a written acceleration plan. Pre-algebra students and algebra students in middle school as an example. How are they scoring on those state assessments? If they score advanced, we actually, with them being on the accelerated path, we get extra points towards our performance index. Looking at that, we have a little less than half that are scoring in that advanced support category. So we need to think about how are we enriching them? How are we growing those students and challenging them? Again, for the third year, our 4-year and 5-year graduation rate went down. So that's another piece as well. Looking overall at state test results, some of our, there's several tests that really went down that were not exceeding our growth, our year's worth of growth. And then, so looking at that as a whole though, like what are we gonna do to improve? Obviously, we implemented MTSS. We're gonna dive in further. We're really pushing, I should say pushing that, we're really implementing it better this year. The next piece is analyzing that assessment data with grade level teams and content teams. The Northwest Ohio ESC, we have partnered with them. They're doing a roots analysis that really looks at multiple components. So once that is completed, then we'll be meeting with them, going over that information, iReady, web exams, state assessment results, and how we can grow our students, how we can move our students forward. Oftentimes talking about data, it pretty makes people vulnerable and stuff. So we need to move over that hump and go forward. And then the other piece too is looking at our gifted students now that we have our own gifted teacher between 2 buildings. We've implemented a co-teaching model in the middle school. So hopefully we'll be able to grow our gifted students that identify gifted. The other piece though too is we are going to be offering this year an opportunity for our staff to earn up to 3 college credit hours. Obviously they would have to pay for it for gifted professional development. So that's an opportunity too. And then obviously we're really looking at that professional development, even though we're focused, our next one is on safety. We are going to be looking at that student supports for the February. And then we'll be doing curriculum review for grades 6 through 12. I think though, the most important thing is emphasis is so much on the state report card and it is very important. We also have to look at what goes on every day in our classrooms and the good things that go on in our school buildings. So this is just a snapshot. Unfortunately, though, this snapshot is what's viewed by the public. They don't get to see all the great things that goes on. I think that we can keep that in mind. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Piper.
Thanks.
Mr. Samoa.
And we have been looking at the possibility of updating the sign down at 6 and 20. It's stated it's hard to change the information on there. It's the old letters and a lot of them, they're plastic and they're breaking. So we've got less than an ideal amount to put up some of the messages we would want to. So we've looked at getting some quotes. We've contacted 3 companies in the area that do signs. First quote came back at $49,475. You had a second quote come in today for $41,772. So I was kind of much higher than I was expecting. I don't think that is a good investment for the district. So wanted to share that with you, get some guidance where we go. Do we put up more of a permanent message and leave it? Do we remove the message portion of the sign? Do we remove the whole sign? I don't know what the best route to go is, but I don't think personally, I don't feel we'd be good stewards of our taxpayer dollars putting up a $50,000. I don't know if it's best to remove that message portion, put a single message on there that doesn't change. I guess I'd like to hear your thoughts on what direction you'd like us to go with regards to the sign.
I'm gonna agree, it's 50,000, heck of a lot of money. I was thinking maybe that, 15 to 20-ish maybe. I would be okay with doing away with the letter portions. I don't care. I think we need to have a sign there though. Whole lot of school districts that don't know how to get here. I'm gonna go down Central until you see the signs.
Yeah, I agree. I'll take the sign that we have And get rid of lettering and try to look at something.
Yeah, I think it's nice when we can put up things for the kids, like when we have sectional champs, or, we've got kids going to state. I think that's just an extra thing, so. I get taking down that portion of the sign and maybe updating, having that landmark for people where right now we have four, and you can't see us from Central. But I don't know if we wanna look into, we have these monument signs here in front of the buildings. Do we wanna do like a rolling sign? Something where you can put more information. You can acknowledge those things that the kids are doing awesome out there. I think maybe we look at other places and other options. But I think it's an easy and good way to get information out to people, so.
I agree with Nora, I mean. Keep the Evergreen one down there and maybe look at here.
We explored that possibility a number of years ago, and then COVID hit, we never moved forward, so I think that would be more cost effective, a smaller. So I'll look into some options for something here on campus that we can scroll and have a little more. Options with, because we are limited with, Iowa Department of Transportation, what we can do with a sign on the highway. Danny?
I'm against 50,000. I mean, that was clear. I mean, as soon as it came across, I was against. I mean, putting something up on the sign would be, home of Viking, whatever. I mean, something easy.
I agree with Jason, it'll probably need a little bit of a facelift, maybe reach out to local.
Okay.
Sign.
Definitely do that. Next item I want to cover, food service. We continue to work with Variety. We renewed our contract. They brought in 2 new employees to start the year. Neither of them are no longer with the company, so we've been struggling a little bit with menu options and quality. And we're working with our staff. We met with them today, kind of game plan. We need to be a little bit patient, but we definitely need Variety to do a better job going forward. And we met with them, and they know the expectation. They want to make sure we are a happy customer of theirs, and that our kids are getting quality food and options. So that has been a work in progress.
Do they have a plan to meet our expectations, I guess?
Yeah, we were pretty satisfied last year with how, with quality and the menu options and all that, but when the staff they had transitioned out, kind of lost some footing, and we did not start the way we wanted to with that. So I guess you have kids in the district, they probably will tell you the food is not as good as it was last year, and we're working to get that.
Yeah,
Do they have menus out yet?
Yes,
Okay.
they're doing a better job of coordinating with our head cooks for what is on the menu and the ordering, so. A little bit of frustration on our end, but we're working with them to get it turned around. And then the last item, we're in the process of scheduling community conversations in October, as we've done in the past at different locations throughout the district, where community members have an opportunity in an informal setting to come talk to Brian and I, ask any questions they may have. So we will get out the dates and locations here in the next week or two, but looking at the first or second week of October. Once we get past home. Any questions on that or anything else?
Awesome, thank you, Mr. Smolla. Any board members with questions or concerns?
I just got something I want to throw out there. We got. It's that time of year fundraising, it's gonna be hitting, right?
That seems to be around.
So. I just wanna see, throw it out there that. Somehow, if we can incorporate community service. Like before fundraising. Cause it seems like we hit all the big. Business in our district all the time. And I don't think we reach back to them and say, hey. For what you guys done to us, we're gonna come over and you got any work you need done around the. Yard or whatever, give back to them. I don't know, I would like to see where. Not just athletic groups, but any group that does fundraising. You take the total amount of kids and say there's 20. You gotta put in 40 hours community service before you can even fundraise. That way. It's not just trying to get easy money. You know, I mean, it just seems like it's paper after paper after paper selling. Just something I wanna throw out there.
Talked about it before, so.
So I just know it's the same people getting hit all the time for all these donations to our school or property or whatever. And I don't think we reach back to them and offer any help that we could do, whether it be watch equipment, watch a truck, something like that. But I think it's good for the kids. I mean, they're gonna earn the money by giving back to the whoever donated. So. I just wanted to throw that out.
I think that's kind of for the older kids, probably middle school, high school, I don't think, you know,
Yeah,
but. Any further questions, concerns? All right, this time I need a motion to adjourn the September 16, 2024 regular meeting of the Evergreen Local Board of Education.
We'll move.
or,
Roll call?
Becca,
yes.
Gerard,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes, motion carries. All right.